Welcome to The Bull versus the Bear, where we dig into both sides of the investment story for some of today's most talked about stocks. Today, we're tackling Kaspi.kz. Now, this company is an absolute titan in Kazakhstan, a true super app that handles everything from shopping to banking. But here's the head scratcher. If it's so dominant, why has the stock plunged nearly 24% over the last few months? I mean, what is going on here? Is this a massive buying opportunity the market is missing, or is it a classic value trap? Let's dive in. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get a quick handle on just how big of a deal Kaspi is. Then, we'll lay out the bull case, why some investors think there's huge hidden value here. After that, we'll flip the coin and look at the bear case. And trust me, the risks are pretty obvious. Then, we'll zero in on Turkey, the company's huge gamble that could make or break everything. And finally, we'll lay it all out so you can make the call. All right, first things first. To really get this story, you have to understand that Kaspi.kz isn't just a company. It's an entire ecosystem packed into one app. So just imagine having one app on your phone that does, well, everything. It's your wallet for payments, it's your shopping mall with their giant marketplace, and it's your bank with all their Fintech services. It's the whole shebang. They've totally nailed this seamless experience in Kazakhstan, and now they're trying to work the same magic in a brand new market, a really high-stakes move into Turkey. Okay, so let's put on our bullhorns. The argument from this side is that the market is making a huge mistake. They believe everyone's focused on the surface-level static and completely missing the powerful engine roaring just beneath. And this right here is Exhibit A for the bulls. The market sees that headline number, 12% growth, and panics. But the bulls are saying, wait, hold on a second. That number is getting dragged down by stuff like new taxes. If you look at the actual core business, the underlying growth, it's cooking along at a much, much healthier 21%. That's the real story, and that's what the bulls are betting on. And it gets even better. It's not just about growth, it's about smarter growth. See, Kaspi's marketplace isn't just a place to sell stuff anymore. They're now selling high-profit services, like advertising, to their sellers. And that part of the business is exploding, up an incredible 56% from last year. That is a game changer for profitability. And this chart? Wow. This is really the core of the bull argument. You've got this strong, profitable, growing business, and yet its stock is trading at a PE ratio under 7. The average for similar companies is almost 35. To a bull, this looks like a massive, completely illogical discount. It's like the market is punishing the stock for problems they see as just temporary bumps in the road. And look, this isn't some wild fringe theory. Wall Street analysts are largely on board. The average price target is over $102, which implies like 39% upside from where it's been trading. The pros seem to agree that the current headaches are temporary and that a big recovery could be on the horizon for 2026. Okay, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's always another side to the story, right? The bears would tell you this stock isn't cheap by accident. It's cheap for some very good, very scary reasons. And a huge part of that bear case is risk. Specifically, regulatory risk in its home country. First off, you've got new tax rules that are already making things more complicated. Second, the government's starting to watch big tech companies a lot more closely, which always adds uncertainty. And then there's the big one, the digital tenge. Think of it as a potential government-run competitor that could, down the line, really mess with Kaspi's main payments business. And if the regulatory stuff wasn't enough, there's a big economic squeeze happening. To fight inflation, Kazakhstan's central bank is keeping interest rates high. Well, for a company like Kaspi that makes a lot of money from lending, high interest rates are like kryptonite. They just crush your profit margins. And the worst part? Kaspi has absolutely no control over it. All right, let's talk about the one thing both the bulls and the bears are watching like a hawk. It's the ultimate wild card, the big gamble that could decide Kaspi's fate, the move into Turkey. So, Kaspi bought a big piece of a Turkish e-commerce company called Hepsiburada, hoping to repeat their success. And if you look at the numbers, you can see just how much of a gamble this is. Yeah, revenue is up a solid 22%, which is great. But oh man, look at the bottom line. Net loss has ballooned by over 223%. They are burning through an incredible amount of cash. So, is this a disaster? Well, it depends on who you ask. The CEO of Hepsiburada basically says, relax, we're doing this on purpose. They claim they're pouring all that money into things like faster delivery and marketing to grab market share now for big profits later. Bulls see a smart long-term investment. Bears, they see a black hole that could just keep sucking up cash. So there's the battlefield. You've got the bull argument, a fantastic, undervalued business that the market just doesn't get. And then you have the bear argument, a company facing serious headwinds at home while taking a massive, expensive risk abroad. So what are the pros saying? Well, it's pretty one-sided, actually. Of the 7 analysts who cover Kaspi, 6 of them have a buy rating on it. Only 1 is on the fence. It seems that despite all those risks we talked about, Wall Street still believes in the long-term story here. And this chart just drives that point home. The stock's been trading around $74. The average analyst thinks it's worth over $102. And get this, even the most pessimistic analyst on the street thinks it should be trading higher than it is today. So from a risk-reward perspective, Wall Street seems to think the odds are pretty good. So it all boils down to this. Who do you believe? Do you side with the bulls, who are betting that these current problems will pass and the company's true value will be impossible to ignore by 2026? Or do you think the bears are right and that the risks at home, combined with that very expensive bet on Turkey, are just too much to handle? All right, the floor is yours. We really want to know what you think. Are you a bull or a bear on Kaspi.kz? Head down to the comments and let us know which argument makes more sense to you and why. I'm curious to see what you all decide. And hey, if you liked this breakdown, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button for the bull versus the bear. We go head-to-head on the market's most interesting stocks every single week. Thanks for watching.